Cars on the track.
Cars on the track. I'm the host with the most, Wayne, and this is the man in the pits with the tits.
wine.
With the wine. Brendan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah, it's excited to see and hear cars on the track. And also, at the time of recording, prior to the Netflix Drive to Survive release, we have to say that because people will be listening to this after it's released. So we've not watched it yet. We can't comment on that yet.
Yeah, but I'm reliably informed that you will be watching that tomorrow.
I may find some time in my schedule to peruse.
Your schedule's packed out with porcelain.
My scheduled medical preparations.
Come on, just tell them. Tell them.
And at my age, it's good for you to get a colonoscopy every now and then. I'm going in for one.
He's going to get a camera crew up his bottom is a camera crew. I've had it down the nose. I've had it down the nose.
The pit lane. Yeah, Netflix are visiting the pit lane as
that's it. And he's prepared. The man in the pits will be preparing for this procedure by spending the day cleaning house, basically. And he plans to watch the whole entire Drive to Survive while doing so. That's how dedicated this man is.
This is you got to put the effort in.
Good quality content. Good, clean, healthy, quality content.
If these drivers could spend a day, Max Verstappen, world champion, two-time world champion, going for his third championship, he spent all day in the car going around Bahrain. He did 2 Grand Prix today. He did over 2 Grand Prix length. Yeah. Alex Albon did a Grand Prix before lunch. All right, if they can do all that, I can sit on the toilet watching.
You are willing to put in the effort. That's what we like. Put in the time, the dedication. It's
I get.
I'm sure our listeners and viewers have been very pleased with that you're willing to do that for them.
Take one for the team.
Taking one for the team. I've had the camera down the nose. I had that, and that's an eerie experience. I didn't like that, but no, I've never had it in the tradesman's entrance, as they say.
I was talking to a colleague. He watched the whole thing live. I'm like, are you kidding me? They are knocking me out. I am done.
Talking about cameras.
In a couple of hours when I'm done. Yeah, I don't want to watch it. I don't want the video. It's not so. Let's come round to my house. Watch my colonoscopy video.
Oh, you are still talking about it. I thought you were talking about the testing. No. Yes. What? Did they send you an MP3 of it? Did they send you?
Bonkers MP4 video.
Oh wow, high def for HD. Maybe we'll pop it up on the channel.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you don't want to get recognised.
No.
Anyway, testing has started.
Speaking of colons and stuff, Lance Stroll, he didn't make it to testing.
He did not make it to testing, did he? What happened to him? What happened?
So let's just refresh everyone's memory because this sets up the joke quite nicely.
Oh, he's got a joke. Oh, Christ.
Testing. Fernando Alonso, right, the godfather of the pit lane, crashed his bike, broke his jaw.
Yeah.
Didn't stop him from going to testing, did it? Didn't stop him from the first race, did it? No. How did he do that? He was on a bike. He was on a bike training. Boom, crashed, broken jaw. Kept going.
I'm interested in this training regime that involves the bike.
Lance Stroll on a bike, maybe learning something from Fernando, falls off the bike. Yeah. Unspecified injury. Aston Martin are being
unspecified.
Very crazy. It's in the arm,
don't you?
The area. We can't say what it is. We don't really know. We're going to wait for Lance. Yeah, he's I don't know, but he can't race apparently. He can't test. So we got Drugovic, who had a pretty good showing, to be honest. Felipe. Well, he was 14th. Not bad for a reserve driver in a brand new car. He's not spent any time in.
Yeah, I suppose so. Apparently, that car's meant to be pretty good. I'm hearing.
Do you know where Fernando ended up?
Second.
Yeah, he says
that.
Glancing the results.
I didn't actually. I looked at it earlier.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this. What? So I caught some of it today when I got home. Right. I didn't obviously watch it live.
I've not watched the highlights yet. I've not watched it yet. I watched the text on on a certain corporation's website, which we're covering it.
Yeah, I just find what I found a bit boring. I don't know. The cars came out, and I don't know whether because last year we were spoiled, weren't we, with a complete change in regulations and looks. Is that me bouncing or you? You on the?
That's what we had last year, wasn't it? Porpoises.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was your camera work there. But we were.
For those of you watching on radio,
he's bouncing up and down on his. He's getting ready for tomorrow. I don't know. They all look the same. I don't know. Oh, all right. I get it. I get it.
And the liveries are all the same. I'm disappointed in the liveries. I get it. I understand. It's all carbon, no paint, saving the weight, the whole thing. The liveries. How are you going to tell who's who when they're crashing? Right. Let's come down to it. That's what we're all interested in.
But just the shape of them are all the same. It's
a bit different, but
I just think what the excitement always was, right? The excitement always was, what are they going to literally look like? And they all come out, and they're all the same with different liveries. And I know you're going to say there's going to be minor differences.
I would disagree on that. I would say there's quite a bit of difference in the side pods and that sort of area. There's difference in the nose cones. There's difference in the spoilers when you look at them compared to each other. But I think what makes them all look the same is they've all gone to dark mode, and the livery, that the black all over is, it's not very clear. I totally understand why they're doing it, but I don't think it's.
Is there a reason for it then?
Yeah, it's naked carbon. There's no paint on it. They've not put paint on them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not right now. I've got up in front of me the cars of 1987 Formula One, and if you click on each car, they, of course, I have. What else would I completely live there still in my head? What strikes you is if you look at every single car in that year, they're all different shapes. They're all literally. They all look completely different.
Right.
The aerodynamics and.
Turn on the screen share so I can show you this picture. For those of you listening on or watching on the radio, I'm about to show you the current McLaren, the current Aston Martin, and the current Mercedes. All right, you see that?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So if you start with, let's start at the front, right? So the Mercedes has got a long, elongated nose cone, much further forward than the side wings on the nose cone, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that.
The Aston Martin, the nose just pushes forward, but on the McLaren, there's nothing there forward at this angle, right? It could be the angle, but there's differences there. The wheels are further away from the front wings.
Yeah.
Then you get into the side pods. The skirt on the Mercedes starts very close to the front wheels. There's a big gap comparatively on the McLaren. The sweep of the side pods is very different. Obviously, the Mercedes still has the zero side pod sort of profile, whereas the McLaren has quite a fat air inlet. Quite a narrow air inlet if you look at that, and you can see that it comes down quite sharp, whereas the McLaren is more of a sweeping down rake, I think. When you look at the roll hoop, which has changed, if you look at the what do they call that? Is the shark fin where Lewis's number 44 is?
Yeah.
The heights of that are different, right? How the back end is shaped is very different. The Aston Martin has like tailpipes coming out. The McLaren looks like it's got tailpipes but not straight. It kind of curves into the middle. Yeah. Obviously, from this angle, it's difficult to tell. And then you've got the spoilers. They've got the DRS unit in the middle there, which is the lump ahead of it. But the wing shapes are very different. The scalloping's very different. The McLaren has that little indentation towards the bottom. Aston Martin's quite square, and Mercedes is inclined. I think they do look very different, but they're all pretty black. They're all pretty dark cars. You could get them confused easily.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen now.
All right.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is 1987, okay?
How far out of a major regulation change is this? And you do remember that most of our people,
I just want to point out, this is 1987. Look at this Benetton here. Look at the curvature there, and they're quite flat. And then when we go up to these guys here, the march here, we'll just leave the engine outside. Brilliant. And it's just, I just feel like
March are the ones that went for the extra wheels as well, aren't they?
They did, yeah. And this is a Tyrrell. I remember this Tyrrell quite well. It was good. They all look different.
What was the championship winning car that year?
In 87, it was.
Come on.
Oh, you want me to answer it? Oh, easy. Yeah. That's it's Williams. Back in the day, do you remember Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah. when they were at the back.
Down at the bottom left, the yellow at number 5.
Yeah, classic Nigel Mansell. That's Nigel Mansell. I was just looking for Nelson Piquet's. They haven't got both of them on there. That's quite strange. I have two of maybe some of these old cars ran 2 different specs in the year. But they all look radically different. That's the point I'm making. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. But
I don't know. It just seems like they're all
things that are affecting.
It's like when the iPhone came out, right? Or when mobile phones came out, right? They were all ridiculously different, weren't they? And then the iPhone come out, and everybody just goes, "Oh, we'll make them all like that." Now every phone just looks like an iPhone. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so I saw a couple of the cars on their tracks, not today, but I've seen previous on the track kind of videos. 2 of them. I saw the Ferrari on the track video, and they had the whole Ferrari team out. First time this new Ferrari's going on the track. Did you see this? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. He's got his eyes wide open. He wants to say something.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, that's not my.
He will. So I saw a video of this when they first launched their new car for the team, and you could see, right, that the whole team is overjoyed, and they seem confident. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you all right there, mate?
Yeah, I'm just talking out some technical difficulties. Carry on.
And the other one, the first time I saw on the track, was the McLaren. It's not going to be good for McLaren, is it, this year?
I don't know. They did all right.
It's not.
Norris was 5th.
Here's why I'm telling you it's not going to be a good year, right? So they did the track test, and then they go, "How was it feeling, Lando?" Because he was the one first time driving it, and he said this. He said, "It's a Formula 1 car. That's a start."
Oh,
yeah. And it was just, why would you say that? You know that there are cameras on you. This is the first time your car's out. It just seemed weird. Well, it's a Formula 1 car. That's a start. It's a start, and it's like, I just don't think McLaren are there again. That just didn't bode well for me, because the Ferrari team, when they launched it, they were like all the team. They all look happy. I don't know whether they all look happy because they got a new boss, but they all looked really upbeat. It just felt, when I saw the McLaren one, that they're not happy. But that's all. That's a little.
That's interesting. Did you see what happened today when they're out on track?
Go on. What happened? No, I didn't know. You tell me. I missed all of it today.
Let me share this. I'll share the screen again. I want to show you an image. I'm trying to get a bigger image of it. These are. There we go. That'll do.
Sorry, podcast listeners. We're looking at pictures.
Oh, here we go. Right.
Here we go. There? Okay.
So the bottom
Ferrari.
The bottom image is the Ferrari on track stationary.
Yeah.
The top image with the dent in the nose.
I can see that.
The front, 5-6 inches up to the third wing on the front wing, up to the third kind of vein on the wing. Right under the Santander image. Logo is all collapsed in. as they're going along at full, when the weight's on that front wing, that buckles. As soon as they change direction, the buckle pops out again.
Is that not? I know that sounds
That's
silly.
not a good thing.
It's not a design thing.
No.
How would they not know that? They've done wind tunnel testing.
I don't know.
Oh dear.
Yes. Oh dear.
But they all seem they got quite high up, didn't they? Is it third and fourth?
They were third and fourth. Yep. They were, yeah. No, they were, third and fourth. Sainz beating Leclerc again.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about these teams. So, like I say, McLaren, I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to. Really? No. What about Williams? How did they look?
Williams were interesting. Alex Albon was. Why is there no levels on this? This is annoying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. Albon was 7th, and Logie Sargent was 10th. So both Williams in the top 10. Caveat to that is that Albon was on the softs, whereas everyone else was running the mediums. So I'll give him a little bit of time for that. But still, both Williams in the top 10. That's quite impressive. It's quite reassuring.
For a first test, there was a Haas. K-Mag was right at the back, wasn't he? My beautiful man.
Yep. K-Mag came in at the back end,
as they say.
Like the doctor's going to be doing on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a bit like yeah. So yeah, is there any exciting news? I watched an interview with Christian Horner as well.
Oh, did you? What was that about? Oh, we think
just general chit chat. Yeah. It just seems so dull.
Did you see Valtteri Bottas's helmet?
No. Show me. Share it.
I'm just about to. Hang on.
Tell me he's gone for some kind of cool. I don't know what. I don't even know what. But it's going to have loads of sponsors on it anyway. So let's be honest.
Oh no, that's Twitter. Hang on. We're going to be able to use that image. Hang on.
People, the listeners are waiting to see this.
They're waiting to see the listeners.
Yeah.
You're funny guy. You're funny guy.
Hey, you're funny guy. Yeah. See what we did.
Funny guy.
Just while we're waiting for Brendan to click away and find the helmet, how have you guys seen the testing? You want to pop your comments down below? Smash that like button. He's still looking for this helmet. Should I do it, mate? Bottas's helmet. Oh look! That's just unprofessional. I just hit the mic. Bottas's helmet. I better put safe search on the old Bottas's helmet. Oh.
Right. Can I share part of my screen?
Probably not. Oh, hold on. Bahrain test. Hold on. Yeah, it's on Twitter. Why can't you share the picture from Twitter?
Okay, let's do that then. Right, you ready?
I know. Oh yeah, just do that.
I'm so proud of my look, so I thought it would need to be painted on a helmet. So obviously, again, my Stilo helmet painted by Daniel.
Oh yes.
Celebrating my new look.
It's got a mullet at the back.
That is class.
Tash on the front. Look at that. That's brilliant, isn't it?
I like the
Big
ears.
tash on the front.
Big tash on the front. I like the ears. That's a bit.
And the mullet.
When did Bottas get a person? As soon as he left McLaren, not McLaren. As soon as he left Mercedes,
yeah, and the press shackles.
And he developed some form of personality.
I quite like him. I think he just gets on with stuff, does it his own way, and if the car goes fast, he designed it.
Yeah. What are those things that come out at the start? When they all come out, they've got these like hangery things behind the front wheels.
Oh, the aero rakes.
Yeah, what do they do?
They
Mr. Man in the pits, tell me.
They measure the airflow at certain parts of the car, and then they can also alter the way the air's flown over the front and the back.
They can alter it, or they're just measuring it.
They measure it, I think.
Oh, okay. So they're measuring the airflow, but don't they disturb the airflow in Isn't that a scientific principle? Observation. Anyway,
that's quantum.
That's
mechanics.
quantum theory, isn't it? Observation.
Observation changes the outcome. Yeah.
Observation changes. Is it quantum mechanics? Not Formula One mechanics. Changes the act. The term observer effect refers to changes the act of the observing will make on the phenomenon being observed. For example, for us to see an electron, a photon must first interact with it. What?
We can't see an electron on its own. You can only see an electron when a photon hits it.
Right. Okay. But what's that got to do with the observer?
You can't see an electron in its normal state.
So the photon hitting it is us seeing it.
No, the photon hitting it is the only way we can see it, but that changes the state of it.
Thank you. See, this is why this man is our technical advisor.
So I'm going to share another image with you.
Do. For our podcast listeners, really appreciate it when you do this.
I will talk them through it.
Talk us through it.
Right, so you see that this is an aero rake on a Red Bull.
To our listeners, they've got the whole coat hanger thing behind the front wheels. Okay.
It's more than a coat hanger. It's more like a clothes rack behind the front wheels. So what it does is it measures all the air coming over the wheels, coming off the wing, off the steering arms, the suspension arms, the wishbones, all that kind of stuff. They're measuring the air coming over it because that they can see what's happening at the front, and then they can tell how it's going into the back parts of it. And then they'll have a section at the back as well. I'm just going to do this. I see. They can measure it at the back and show what it does at the back. So they've got one at the front, one at the back, and that tells them how the air. They can make adjustments to the front and the back and see how it changes the effects on the aero rake. So they're measuring the air going over the back.
So they're just all sensors. They're all sensors.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, all measuring airspeed and pressure, like pitot tubes on the front of an airplane. So they'll measure all that kind of stuff. But the more
pitot tubes. I'm impressed. You know that about pitot tubes. You've got to put in cold weather. You've got to put covers over them because they're quite in cold weather. They get. And if they're not removed, they can lead to air disasters. Apparently.
Yeah.
There's been several times when pilots have come out and not seen them, and then
big hanging orange tags.
Big hanging things, and the pilots go, "No, nothing wrong here." Let's just take off.
The more analog version is the high vis paint, the view flow paint or flow vis or whatever.
So they can just see where the air's going.
You see it spinning. Yeah, it shows you the spin and it carries the paint around that. It carries the liquid in that area. Okay. So that's what a lot of what they're doing. And going back to your early comment about it being quite boring, they're not racing each other. They're just driving around. To quote somebody years ago, they're driving around in circles. That's all they're doing, and they're trying.
A lot of people throw that one out on the whole season, basically, which technically they are. I suppose Formula One is
not a circle.
Formula One is a game of them driving around in circles, guys. If you've just tuned into this podcast, that's all we talk about.
If you're new to Formula One, you want to learn.
The cars drive around. They all look the same. I don't know. I was just a bit underwhelmed by it. Just seeing them, there was nothing. But like you say, it's a test. Let's see what they.
Well, apparently, Mercedes didn't bounce up and down, and they were very happy at that. So, did
they bounce up and down last year in testing? In that one?
Yeah.
Okay. There's talk of them.
Except Red Bull.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing, didn't they? They got their act together. So do we think that Red Bull have got it this year? Is it over again? Didn't we say that about Ferrari last year?
Look how correct we were.
I know.
So interestingly, talking about Ferrari, there was an interview with Fred Vasseur, and I like that he's getting more airtime now. He always seemed like an interesting chap, but he's getting a lot more airtime now.
Where was he before?
He was at Alpha. He was the team principal with Alfa Romeo. He helped Charles Leclerc winning one of the lower series. So he knows Charles Leclerc really well. Right. Alpha's obviously a feeder company, a symbiotic company with Ferrari, so they close work together. Yeah. Anyway, so it was an easy move. But he two things that he's done. But he said that he worked over Christmas because Christmas is for people with children and retired people. Everyone else has a job to do. I like that. No messing about. Get on it, Fred.
Right. Yeah.
But he also said that he spent his time analysing every mistake that Ferrari made last year and looking at how he could make it better, right? That's probably why he was working.
And did he immediately sack?
He's still in the job. He didn't walk out.
He probably walked back in and went, "We need to sack Binotto." Yeah, you've taken his job. Oh, all right.
I think Binotto's point was quite valid. That you don't learn by sacking people. You learn by changing the processes. That was Binotto's point. But it happens so much.
You don't learn by sacking people. I understand that principle, but if it's that, how many mistakes? You know, if you're making
it was.
If you're flying to go back to a plane analogy, if you crash a few planes and you manage to survive, you are going to learn if you sack that pilot, aren't you? I mean, come on. You know, there's learning from your mistake. Obviously, I'm a teacher. I know that making mistakes is fundamental to the process of learning. Yeah. But if it's the same mistake again and again,
you're at the front end of the learning tube, as it were, right?
Okay.
You would like.
Can we not talk about front ends and back ends? Okay.
You would like to think that the pinnacle of motorsport, right? Formula One.
Yeah.
The pinnacle of technology is the exact opposite end to what you're dealing with, right? They should have made the mistakes and learned that this should be them participating in the purest, best form of their sciences, right? And yes, they're still going to make mistakes, but they should be of a level that they learn from them and improve on them.
And not make them again, basically.
Not make them again, yeah. Have that culture of winning and moving forward that Red Bull have, that Mercedes have. And
I don't know whether it's all gone. And I'm going to tell you why. Right? I'm going to tell you why I don't. That culture of winning compared to... It's just a business. Isn't it? I don't know. I was watching Ted Kravitz. Wait a minute. Talking about the Formula One teams earlier on. Listen to him.
Hashtag Ted in this so that Ted can come on and
hashtag, yeah. If you're listening, please clarify if I misquote you or offend you in any way. Well, so
Ted gives as good as he gets.
He was talking about it. And then he was talking about the cost of a Formula One team, and he said about just shy of £1 billion, 900,000 was AlphaTauri. Was one of them was like, and he said that he asked the team principals about it. They said, well, yeah, if the right bit of money comes along, we sell the teams up. All the teams are up for sale. And it's just like, I don't know whether that business mentality as opposed to for the love of racing's there. I don't know.
I think there's very different. I think there's different sides to it. There's two sides to it, right? There's the team.
How many sides? Two. Go on.
Right. So there's the Sauber side and there's Alfa Romeo side. Right. And I think every team can be identified like that, right? Who did Mercedes buy? They bought back in the day. Who was it Braun?
Braun, yeah.
Right. So
Braun was Honda, and Honda was let's go back into time
But there's an entity there. There's a core that moves, right? And then they change the name and they change the sponsor and they change that, right? There's a team spirit down here in the core, and then there's the business and the names and the branding up the top. And I think there's a disconnect with the majority of the teams. I think with Williams, it was still by Frank and Claire. There was no disconnect. It was maybe too closely linked. But now with Doralton Capital and whoever else is involved in it, there's that separation again. But you've still got those core players. They're still the same mechanics. You look at I mean, Red Bull was. I mean, what were they? They started off as Christian Horner's back garage team or something like that. They were.
I mean, those days are gone.
They're never going to happen again. But that core team, there's mechanics that have been Red Bull since the start, right?
Oh, okay.
The business people at the top, although the name hasn't changed, the business people have all the business side of it. Same with Mercedes.
Garagistas. That's what Enzo Ferrari used to call them, garagistas. Until they, like garagistas. Until I think he said that in the 70s, and then Tyrrell started beating them because Tyrrell initially was just one guy, Ken Tyrrell, and a couple of sheds. And Hesketh was like that as well with James Hunt.
Yeah. And what was that other one with the 6 wheels that we were talking about?
March. But Tyrrell did it. Tyrrell did a 6-wheeler, and March did a 6-wheeler as well. Yeah. Tyrrell's 6-wheeler was 4 at the front, and March's was 4. Williams prototyped in the early 80s. They prototyped a 6-wheeler as well, but it never raced. There you go. Little history of 6-wheeled Formula 1 cars there. But the point I'm making is he was suggesting that every team has its price. That's the point.
But that's the sort of corporate. That's the way the world is. Everybody has a price, right? Every boat is up for sale. Maybe your car's up for sale if enough people if people offer you enough money. But at that level, the wealth, you don't get rich by keeping things. You get rich by selling things that other people want for more money than you've paid for it. That's what it is, isn't it?
Buy low, sell high, basically. That's what we said there.
Finance.
Get rich. That's where I'm going wrong. I just keep selling things for less than Okay. I get you. Buy low, sell high. Thank you. Sound financial advice on the F1 Show podcast, people. Sound financial advice. That's why these people have made. Go on, sell the pen. Is that what you're going to do? Or are you showing me where he's waggling a pen in front of me?
This pen that I'm holding is worth maybe 20 pence, right?
Oh, okay.
If you needed to sign a check for $1 million, if you need to sign a contract that'll earn you $1 million or £1 million, sorry, you'll pay me 100 quid for it because you've got a million.
If every other pen had vanished off the face of the earth, obviously.
If I'm sitting right here in front of you,
you're talking about demand. I know what it is. Yeah, it's demand.
If I get something you want, then you sell it at the value of it, not what it cost you.
Ah, that's very interesting. Having read a bit of economics in my time, it's the theory of value, and is it subjective or is there an objective value to something? But then we're just going down a different path of that.
And this, ladies and gentlemen,
this is why
Wayne's
we can only talk once a week at best. Okay, I think we should have a Murray, but I want to dig in.
Thinking, is he here? Is he here?
Is it Murray?
Murray.
Unless I'm very much mistaken.
What I want to talk about is this, right? What I wish to discuss. What's this free speech thing going on here? This is right up my ballpark, as they say, not right up your ballpark, which is going to be delayed this weekend, but right up my ballpark, as they say. What is this? What's gone on here? Why have they all thrown their toys out the pram?
Okay, the history of it is that it's kind of tied in with some other things. It's tied in with Mohammed bin Salem's stepping away from F1. He ultimately is the head of FIA Motorsport. He's the head of the FIA, right?
Right.
He's got more than just F1 under his umbrella.
Right.
He and we spoke about this last week. He's now got the house in order and put people in place to look after F1.
Right.
But one of the things he was vocal about was he didn't want it to become a political platform. So it's coming from the FIA. Ultimately, it's coming from
Right.
Mohammed bin Sulayem, right? By bin Sulayem. But then he got caught out on an archive website about making non-PC comments about women and women in sport and that sort of thing. So that may have
Who'd have thought someone Saudi Arabia? Is he from Saudi Arabia? Who'd have thought someone from Saudi Arabia would have derogatory views on women? I'm shocked. I'm shocked about that. Are you, sir? Are you shocked about that in Saudi Arabia? Someone would have horrible views about women?
Or somebody from those countries would complain about prominent people commenting on it in those countries at a major flagship event for sponsored by,
you can fly all your little rainbow flags.
Yeah.
Well,
if it says Aramco, which is the Saudi's oil company, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there's the pride flag underneath. Contradictory messages there. So that's why any comment on what you're allowed to say has attracted a lot of attention, right?
Which is as it would.
Now, every single driver came out and said, because everybody asked them, right? And a lot of them came out and said it on their own anyway. They said that they were just still going to do it. Right. George Russell, who should be wearing a blue bulletproof vest and a white helmet with United Nations written on it, he said that he was waiting for FIA to clarify the position on it, right? So what they've done now, as the BBC call it, a backtrack, but what they've done is clarified that
they've backtracked basically.
They're allowed to say it whenever they want. They're allowed to say it whenever they want, as long as it's not these times, which is like on the podium, at the drivers' parade, at prize giving. They can say it in press interviews when they're away from
off the track.
When they're off the track, basically. Yeah, they're allowed to have helmets. They're not allowed to wear T-shirts on the podium. They're not allowed to do. They're not allowed to make hand gestures, all that kind of stuff. But they're allowed to say it whenever else they want.
Well, what you're going to create is now, dare I say it, right? I'm not a fan of any curtails of speech anyway, right? I understand, like, as a professional I'm not a fan of curtailing of free speech. Okay.
Right. Yeah, stop
in any way, but I do understand that when you work in a place, you have responsibilities and professionalism, etc., etc. But when you say you can't do this, all you do is reinforce certain narratives that they're oppressed. Do you see what I mean? So, like, let's say, you're fighting for a certain cause and you feel like it's not getting attention, and then and you feel like you've got a platform to bring attention to this, and then you can't. It just reinforces the idea that you're oppressed in the first place.
Yeah.
But they have backtracked, and here's why they have backtracked. Let's have a look at the same.
So what the guidance says is that it only applies to press conferences if not in response to a question from a journalist. Right?
Yeah.
So journalists can say to you at the press conference, what do you think of LGBT rights in the Arab states, for example?
Right.
They're more than happy to say their point of view, right?
Yeah.
If he says, how was the race today? Yeah, it was really good, but I think the oppression of LGBT rights in Arab states is awful. Not allowed.
I think the murdering of badgers is terrible, and we should stop doing it. You know, that kind of thing.
Bovine TV is more of a strain on the UK society, to be honest. Anyway,
go the
point
badgers.
number two, go bovines. During activities on track or equivalent, for example, the drivers' parade or national anthem. So during national anthems and drivers' parade, they're not allowed to do symbols and wear T-shirts and stuff like that. Which, from a commercial point of view, that's the clips that everybody's paid to be included on, right? So if Aramco's in the back, Aramco are paying a lot of money to be there, to be shown. They get, money talks, attitude walks.
Yeah, I understand that. But
Right,
I
and
think
then
now
third
they've made
one-
it worse
third one-
because Hamilton ain't going to stop.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
The third one is the third one is pre and post race procedures, such as podium ceremony, in the cool down room before the podium, or at start and end of season photos.
Right.
It's quite specific. It leaves a lot of other time, like pre-race interviews, the grid walk, post-race interviews in the pen, all that stuff. They can say whatever they want. Right?
Twitter?
Yeah, that's nothing to do with the race.
But it says here, but in an apparent move to appease growing unrest, the FIA said that in exceptional circumstances, it may authorise a participant to make a statement at an international competition that would otherwise be prohibited. So basically, if we deem it, when you do that, all you're saying is if you think the same way we do. So like, it's almost like we're all against this, so that's fine. But
they're representing a brand at the end of the day.
Oh no, I understand that, but
at those times, right?
That little caveat means it just means don't criticise us.
No. It's not carte blanche. They can say whatever they want outside of those times I just mentioned. But during those times they've mentioned, you have to toe the party line. You're on the field of play. You're representing a bigger entity than just you.
It does worry me that post-race interviews are boring enough and corporate enough, aren't they?
Doesn't say anything about post-race interviews, though. Say what you want.
It still feels...
They know journalists well enough. If Ted Kravitz sat in there and went, Max, what do you think about LGBT rights in the Arab states? That's a direct question from a journalist. Ted would do it, maybe not for Max, but, maybe to get back in his good books. But anyway, if a journalist, they know journalists, they can prime them with questions if they want to get a point across. There's ways around it. Don't be so
ways
naive
around
to
it, so
think
what's the point of the rule? I don't know. It just seems like...
Lewis Hamilton said,
Go
nothing will stop me from speaking on things I am passionate about.
Right.
And I don't see anything in there that says that they will stop him from talking about things that he's passionate about.
You still got that earring in? Was it a nose ring? You still got that nose ring?
Yeah.
He's like a naughty schoolboy, that one, isn't he?
I'm at Ted Kravitz. So, do the Twitter thing at Ted Kravitz. What's going on with pants and piercings?
Yeah.
Gone all quiet. Hashtag tumbleweed.
Yeah. He's like that. We're going to find you. No, I'm not taking it out. There's something you've got to admire about someone who goes, no. Yeah, we'll find you. Okay.
Yeah, so what?
So what? I've got millions.
That's like
I'm still not taking it out.
Classic Vettel last year on the bike with the helmet off.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
So what? Where's the money going? I love Vettel when he said, "Well, where's that money going? Where's that going in their pockets? Let's make a new rule."
He doesn't mind it going out of his. He doesn't mind it going out of his. He wants to know where it's going, though.
Yeah, it's like we'll make a new rule up so that we can all pay for our conservatories. I don't know what it is, catch them all out. You what? You need a new conservatory. I'll do you go.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So who said it? So the FIA also clarified political, religious, or personal expressions. A rule breach would have occurred if the general making and displaying of political, religious, or personal statements or comments, notably in violation of the general principle of neutrality. I don't think they can be neutral, can they? Can they? And that's the thing, isn't it?
Right.
They pulled out of China. They pulled out of Russia. They were definitely political reasons for doing that.
Yeah.
Because there's a war on with Russia and all that. China, well, it's China.
China wouldn't let them in because of COVID.
They're busy. China can't do it this year because they're too busy exterminating Uyghur Muslims. But anyway, too busy. Uyghur Jews? Is that a thing? But basically, the point I'm making, that's a political view.
No, the balloon above you.
What balloon?
That's sniper balloon.
Oh, that's the balloon. I don't buy that. I don't buy any of that in a second. I mean, if you're going to make a spine thing, why are you going to make it that big? It's clearly visible. Don't buy it. Have you seen the new round things they found on beaches? They reckon that are China monitoring submarines.
They're called buoys.
Yeah, but they reckon they found ones with electronic equipment.
And he's writing on them. Yeah, all right, thanks.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense because they can spy on you from space.
Oh! Have you bought a red pepper?
A what?
A tomato, a red pepper, any vegetables?
Oh, the cost of them. How much are they? They're
No, but have you got them in the box?
The value.
If you believe the press, if you believe the press, there's no vegetables to be found anywhere. Because of a weather event in Spain.
What happened in Spain?
Nothing.
A weather event. I love it when I say a weather event. What weather?
No, there was nothing. I've got a friend that lives in Spain in the food producing area, and she said there was a weather event, but it caused zero interruption, and there's absolutely no reason why there should be anything off the shelves in Britain.
I haven't got tin foil with me at the moment. What's going on? You can't come out and spout these. So you saying that's on purpose? You saying
the press are saying it for no reason? You go to your local supermarket, let me know, and please comment if anybody's listening out there. If anyone's listening. Please let us know if there's vegetables on your shelves, because the press are saying that there's no vegetables anywhere because of a weather event somewhere else.
Do you mean the mainstream press? The mainstream press.
Yeah. Well, it's not Al Jazeera, is it?
No, what I'm talking about is if you go on YouTube and other news organisations that are freer than the mainstream press.
The one.
How do we get to? Anyway, the point I'm making is, okay, no. Seriously, right? This is the point I'm making. They pulled out of Russia because there's a war, right? And now, obviously, you can say what you like. They ditched poor old Nikita Mazepin because he was bad, but he says it was because he was Russian as well. And anyway, it's a, and then they say, oh, we're neutral. It's like, you're not neutral, are you, dude? Do you know what I mean? You're not neutral.
Yeah. That's
not neutrality, putting out of Russia and China, is it? That's a statement.
Okay, here's a change of subject for you, right? Quite a lot has been made about Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly.
Go on, what about them?
Well, they've had quite public spats in the past, but they've grown up together, they've raced together previously.
Can we just say Hulkenberg beat K-Mag in the test?
That's the other one, right? That's the other one. Are we going to have an over the season prediction on who's going to win those teammate battles?
Teammate battles. Okay.
I mean, Verstappen's going to win, but Verstappen's going to come higher than Perez, right?
He wasn't even on track, was he? He hasn't even been on track yet.
Not going on track till tomorrow, but they're doing a day.
Did he fall off his bike or something? What happened?
What?
Did he fall off his bike? What happened?
Who?
Perez. Why wasn't he on track?
He wasn't scheduled to be on track today. Max had a day on his own.
Oh, okay.
But he was there or thereabouts. And there was other teams that did that as well.
Okay.
The only driver. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
top 16, entertainment 17. People listening to a man.
90, well, it was only Perez. It was
who's counting.
It was only Perez. It wasn't on track.
That's what I was saying. Listen to a man who's counting.
The maths teacher.
Yeah. So you say there's going to be. I'm quite looking forward to the Norris Piastri kind of thing.
Right, so let's start. Do you want to make a note of these, and we'll see who we think's going to be who's going to be the teammate battles, right? Teammate battle prediction.
Okay. Who's going to beat who?
Have you got a bit of paper there? And we'll start with Mercedes.
I haven't got a pen. You've got a pen. You just held a pen in front of me. I'll give you £400 for that pen.
Oh, there we go.
Write it down. Here we go. I'm going to say right. Out of the number one, we'll play the game of number 1, number 2.
I've got a format.
Number 2 obviously is something you're going to be doing a lot of tomorrow, but let's.
Some of it may be number 1, mate.
Oh, yeah. So it'll be both. It'll be both at the same time. Okay.
Work experience as a lady.
Verstappen's going to beat Perez, obviously. That's an order. Or I'll put my car in the wall.
So you're doing Verstappen. Okay. Right, we'll start with I think Verstappen as well. We're gonna do the order on the F1 website. So we've got Mercedes. Who do you think is in Mercedes?
I think
Russell or Hamilton? Just to remind you, who's the driver?
I think Russell's going to beat him.
Last season, Russell outpointed Hamilton. You think that's going to happen again?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I think maybe
Russell.
Hamilton. I'm going to make a bold. But this isn't a bold prediction, actually, is it? I think this is Hamilton's last year.
You think? I think Hamilton. If they've got a good car, I think Hamilton's going to rule it. So I think he's going to beat Russell. I think last year he sacrificed himself for the team. And the first half of the season did a lot of tests. Have you frozen or are you just pulling a funny face?
That's my normal face.
I thought you had a stroke.
I did pull a funny face when you said it.
I think Hamilton's going to come out fighting. I think he's going to be he's going to make up for lost time last year. He was developing, right? Alpine, Ocon or Gasly?
Who?
Ocon or Gasly for Alpine?
That's a tough one. That is going to be a tough one. Gasly.
I'm going Gasly.
Yeah, Gasly feels a little bit more seasoned, doesn't he?
He's proved himself.
He's probably got a lot more mileage under the belt than Ocon, hasn't he, Gasly?
I don't know. I think it's probably comparable, but I think Gasly sniffed the front. I think a bit more, and last season.
Will you just stop? Yeah, and you know what happens when you sniff the front? You don't ever want to go to the behind again once you sniff the front. You know that. Yay! Right, go on next.
Haas next. Haas. Magnussen.
Oh, this is going to be the epic one. I think they're very, very similar drivers, as in experience-wise.
Are they going to have a Barney?
I think so. I wouldn't mind predicting there's going to be a clash between those two.
That's a sound clip we need. That's the sound clip we need on there. You whatever it was, whatever that tete they had. That back in the day when he said to him, "Oh, you need to drive better. You need to grow a pair of balls or something like that."
Ouch.
We need that. You don't remember that?
No, but I'll find it. I'll find it.
I'll send you it if I can find it. Right. So who do you think's going to win?
Out of those two.
Yeah, points total. Who's going to have the higher points total at the end of the season?
I'll still go K-Mag. I'm not letting my man down.
All right. I think it's going to be the Hulk.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah. I think Hulk he's not going to set the world on fire. He's just going to bring the car home. He's going to bring it home more often. And K-Mag is going to put it in the fence, I think.
Really? He's going to be flustered. K-Mag was quite comfortable last year because he had old Mick throwing it in the wall all the time.
Yeah. Somebody's got to throw it in the wall, though. Right, Piastri or Norris? Solid Norris every time, I'd say.
I wouldn't mind. Solid Norris, but I reckon there's going to be friction.
You think?
I think so. The whole way that boy got his seat.
Right, so I think that the two of them, I think K-Mag and Hulk are the last generation of drivers that are going to do that. I think Piastri and Norris may hate each other, but they are so dialed into social media and perception and the whole thing. They've been brought up with it, right? That's their generational thing. They're not going to see.
They're digital natives, you mean? Is that what you mean?
What did you say?
Digital natives.
Digital natives. There's a phrase.
Have you not heard that one?
Wow.
That's a good one.
No, I like that.
I've come up with two today, haven't I? That's two now. I've come out with. What was the other one I come out? I can't remember. I have to listen back tomorrow when I'm editing.
It might have been neurodivergent. Was it that one?
No, but let's just forget what we're doing. Let's just list our favourite words.
Neurodiversity. Neurodiversity was what I said, and then my wife was like, "Oh, you mean people that are neurodivergent?" I'm like,
what?
Go.
They're digital natives. I just ruined it. That's exactly what you'll be screaming in the toilet tomorrow. Oh, digital natives.
But I watched
Okay.
drive to.
I think Norris definitely, but there's going to be a little bit of friction.
Right, then we've got Perez. and
No fun
Verstappen.
without friction, is there? Sorry.
Then Stroll and Alonso.
Alonso, but
Yeah, Stroll hasn't even turned up at testing.
he's not even there. Alonso. Alonso looks. I mean, he must have been dead chuffed today. That man's just getting better. I think he's in with another shot, Alonso. I really do. If that Aston Martin is Aston Martin, please don't tell me it's not. It's Aston Martin.
Yeah, well done for remembering.
Yeah. But I can remember who won the Austrian Grand Prix in 1986, but forget it on this year's lineup. If that Aston Martin's as good as what the noises that are coming out, and I'm not talking about you tomorrow on the toilet. I'm talking about the noises coming out of Aston Martin. Who's the next two? There's going to be a couple more. I think Williams are going to be a little bit.
All right, AlphaTauri, the shortest team ever in F1 history.
Yeah. Who's on them again?
Nick De Vries.
Nick De Vries has won that.
I know you. I don't know if you are aware of Nick De Vries's quality here. He's won the Formula E. He's won the Formula 2. I think he won Formula 3. He's a championship winner. He's just. This is the stars.
Formula E doesn't count. No, Formula E doesn't count. I don't know why. It's radio, isn't that radio controlled cars? Is that Formula?
But at the end of the day, he's in an AlphaTauri.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Right. But teammate against teammate, De Vries or Tsunoda?
De Vries.
Yeah, got to be.
I think so as well. To do that, what he did last year, to just pop in that car and do what he did, I think that shows a little bit more class.
Coffee shop to starting grid in an hour and a half. You know, that's
unbelievable. And have finished the race. Did he finish in the points?
Did he finish your coffee? That's what we want to know.
He gets back and it's cold. He's like, oh,
let's get to the important stuff here. Who cares about the points?
Why were you so quick? Well, I didn't want my coffee to get cold.
There's no cup holders in this car.
Yeah. Who's that? Right, I think De Vries has got that. I don't know. There's something about that man. I like him. You know, he's no.
Oh yeah, are we gonna have a theme tune?
Will you stop? Will you stop?
A new theme tune.
Come on, who's next? He will never overturn the gorgeous K-Mag. Go on, next.
You want to keep Wayne? You need a 6-pack picture out soon, K-Mag. Anyway, Charles or Carlos? French Charles or Spanish Charles?
That's a tough one. I think Carlos.
Carlos got it. I think I'm a strong Carlos winning that. You on Carlos as well?
Yeah, I'm going Carlos for that.
All right, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be posting these on Instagram.
Is that all of them? We done all of them?
No, not yet. You put a plug in before you finish it, Wayne. Have you not seen any of this stuff that anyone else does?
Anybody think we're amateurs at this? I don't know what we're talking.
This is the first time you've done this. All right, so it'll be on Facebook, Instagram. Wayne might share it to Twitter if he remembers.
No, I'm leaving that to you now. I'll do all the editing and the posting and the post-production.
And the memes and the pictures.
We've got to find some memes.
And then, all right, so we've got Alpha and Williams left. So we've got Valtteri or Zhou?
Valtteri, every time. Valtteri every time. You cannot go wrong if you've got a helmet like that.
Yeah, the access to the bishop.
yeah. Clip that and put it on you.
You're gonna do that.
I haven't heard someone say that to me for a long time.
Steady.
You know what she said to me? She said, you can't go wrong with a helmet like that. Valtteri Bottas. Because he's got a grey helmet.
Coming up the rear.
Hey!
Alex Albon or Logie Sarge?
I think this is going to be tricky. I think they're going to clash.
You think?
I don't know. Alex Albon's got this nice guy persona. Who was his teammate last year again? I've forgotten already. It's Williams, isn't it?
Super Nicky.
Who?
Super Nicky.
Nicky. No, I think they're going to clash.
So I have a little bit of insider knowledge about
Oh, hello. Go on.
one of my window fitter
Jesus Christ. It's my window fitter's cousin's dog.
No, it's not that. It's not that extrapolated. But my window fitter's son is Alex Albon's aerodynamicist, trackside and aerodynamicist. We have asked for. If you're listening, Roger's son, come on, we'll have a quick chat. Nothing.
No one to hear it. You can say what you like. We're all for free speech here. Go on.
Yeah, it's more to do with what Williams will be happy with, but we'll keep it mild and we'll by the says he's a lovely guy. He's as nice as he comes across. He's genuinely a nice guy. Again, lid goes down brutal on the track.
What, Alex Albon?
Yeah. He took out. He tried to take out Lewis Hamilton a couple of times when he was in the Red Bull. Remember that? And Hamilton took him just because he was a bit more experienced at it. But he went toe to toe with him.
Okay. I'm going to say I'm going to go for the unknown quantity here, which is
for Sarge.
Going to go for Sogan Largent or whatever his name is.
I think you'll be developing a crush on him, to be honest. Once you. So we'll put in Sarge for the old Genuine.
So who else we got left? Last one.
I'm going to go for Albon. No, that's us. That's the last one.
Was it? We done all of them. Has we done?
10 teams.
Oh. And do you know what? I'm missing Vettel. I'm going to miss Vettel this year.
Aren't we all? Danny Rick.
I don't know. I don't think I will miss him.
You don't think you miss him?
No, I like Vettel.
Come on, Danny Rick riding a pony into the paddock in Austin. You're going to miss that.
Yeah, I suppose. He's a nice guy. Yeah, another nice guy. But do you think he's going to get another shot at the championship? He ain't going to be back, is he, Danny? Too many young.
Perez gets on. I reckon they've got him in a box. They'll keep him race fresh, mother. He's going to be race fresh. I'm telling you, right?
Every race he'll be ready. Do you think he'll be ready to get that?
No. He'll be race fresh by, I reckon. He'll be race ready by Miami, I reckon.
Red Bull.
They'll be running him. They'll be running him in last year's car. They'll be running him in the simulator. They'll be, because that's all they can do, right? They might give him a couple of laps as a reserve driver at things, but if Perez doesn't cut the mustard, they're brutal enough to bring.
They do. I was just about to say, Red Bull aren't shy.
He's got limited time left, right? He's got limited time left. He either needs to get back on it like Alonso's done, or he needs to go away. He's got a small window of opportunity to do that. He's still
Red Bull. This is what I was going to say. Red Bull aren't shy about kicking out a driver halfway through a season, are they?
No.
In fact, they're the only ones that do it.
That's Alex Albon.
Yeah. And who's the other one? Who's the Russian fella?
Yeah.
Him. What's his name?
Verstappen's baby daddy.
We can't even remember his name. That's terrible. And
that's how fleeting the nature of this sport is, my friend.
Do you know what? I think we've done enough. I think we've completed the F1 Show podcast again, people. Guys, we're sorry we didn't make it last week. But once the season starts, it's once a week, isn't it? We got to make it. When is the first race? What's the date? How long have we got?
Next Saturday.
A week Saturday.
A week Sunday is the race, so we can maybe drop in and do a short one in next week, with our predictions for the race.
Wait a minute, we do a full podcast next week then with our predictions.
Right.
Just do a full podcast. There's going to be a lot of news. We've got some more testing to do.
Yeah, I've got a lot more testing to do.
And you're going to be about 4 stone lighter.
Including my colonoscopy. That's technically.
And that is going to take like 25 minutes of you describing what it's like to have a cameraman up. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Netflix, the F1 Show podcast. Okay, we will see you.
Netflix lane. Oof.
Yeah. And I'm going to watch Drive to Survive. We're going to talk about that, okay, as well.
Yeah, there we go.
We've got lots to talk. People, we have always got lots to talk about. It may not be about
At the
Formula
end
One.
of the day, we might not have monetized this like Wayne had promised last year, but it's about me
I
and
never
Wayne
promised. There was no promise of monetization.
This time next year, Rodney. Next time next year, we'll be millionaires.
It's a long game for this, my friend. Okay, that's been the F1 Show podcast. We'll see you later. Bye.